Thank you so much for joining us, Marc. Truly a pleasure having you on ET Now.
It's great to be here with you, Sonali.
First things first, we've heard so much about how PNG is looking to restructure and consolidate the way it deals with agencies. If you can talk a little bit about what exactly is going through in your mind, how you envisage this and how you're going about the process to ensure better efficiencies and also better cost savings.
Yeah, well, stepping back a little bit, what we've been trying to do as a company is to get just more productive.
Sure.
And one of the biggest areas of spending is in marketing spending.
Yep.
So what we've been doing is looking at, number one, shifting more of our media spending to digital, which is more productive, both effective and efficient, but also reducing our non-media spending, of which a major portion of that is agencies.
Sure.
Agencies in production and agency-related spending. So what we have decided to do is to consolidate the number of agencies that we work with across the full range. So creative agencies, digital agencies, media, in-store, talent, consolidate to get fewer, but also upgrade to make sure we get better. Because what we want to do is dramatically improve the quality of what we're delivering while also getting savings. This will yield about $500 million of incremental savings.
Starting next year?
Over the next couple of years. Exactly.
But when you say you're reducing yet upgrading, you're saying you're going to work with fewer agencies across all platforms.
Right.
But they'll be better agencies.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, fewer the best. Maybe a better way to think about it is we're going to work with the best.
Right.
So, and what that just means is, which as you've seen in many cases, we've made some consolidations already. We've also decided to pitch. For example, we announced our North American media pitch. And we want to make sure that we just get the best thinking, the best creative quality, the best efficiency, and the best strategic quality that we possibly can.
Right. But you've also said in the past that the fact that you're spending so much on digital, the costs are going up. Mm-hmm. How is that translating for you in terms of ensuring that you keep that at bay, but you also ensure that your agencies are driven to work seamlessly with digital as well?
Oh, sure. Well, and actually, the reality of digital is that digital is more efficient. So you can get better reach, more effective reach, and more precise from a targeting standpoint. So that actually saves you money. So what we expect is our advertising agencies to be able to do both regular creative that they're accustomed to doing, like on TV, but also search, social, mobile, video, and all the digital mediums. And so we need to make sure that they're integrated. Our media agencies also need to help us do better targeting.
But tell me, do you see them actually, revamp and get their capabilities in order so as to meet your expectation of, really managing all platforms?
Some better than others.
Yeah.
And that's part of what this is about. We're working with each of our agencies, creating the expectations for what they need to do. Some will deliver, some won't. We'll make some changes. In general, I will tell you this, Sonali, agencies are as interested in the digital world as we are, because they see it's inevitable. So they're going to have to get more capable at that.
But what I do notice is clients are trying very hard to ensure that they incorporate the digital, mobile, tech world into their culture within their employees, as opposed to agencies who I find are on an acquisition spree. We don't have it, we'll buy it. But that doesn't mean you're essentially translating that culture into your traditional agency. Would you be in agreement with me?
Well, I think the outcome that we're both seeking is the same. We recognize the need to transform our capabilities to do brand building in the digital world. So I think you see clients who are not only building capability, but in many cases acquiring capability, and I think you see agencies who are doing the same thing.
Sure.
Both have to do this. This is a game of teamwork. In order for us to win in this environment with the consumer, which is first and foremost the most important thing, the core reason why we're all moving to the digital world is because that's where consumers are going. So we all need to work together to be able to make sure we can deliver there.
Right. You've also talked about the fact that you think a new model is the need of the hour. Everybody is actually debating what kind of model will finally emerge, and we're all shooting in the dark. But what, in your sense, you think the new model will look like in, let's say, a few years to come?
I think at minimum it will be a far more integrated model.
Okay.
Where you have different disciplines working together. Okay. The brand people from the client, the market research people from the client, the design people from the client, the PR people from the client, as well as all those different agency capabilities coming together. So far more integrated, but I also believe there will be far fewer touches. In other words, we need to take a lot of the excess touches out of the system. Because there's way too many touches out there, and that's something that we definitely need to take out, which is why we're doing the consolidation.
If I've got you right, what you're essentially saying is you'd like to go back to a full service agency setup, but that full service agency now servicing all the services required for today.
I don't know if it'll be that.
Okay.
I don't know if it'll exactly be the full service agency.
Okay.
What is most important is that each of the agencies that we work with and any partner we work with is going to have to create value.
Sure.
It's about building brand value. Value for the consumers, value for our shareholders, value for our company.
Right. I want to talk about, the P&G merging the four brand building functions into one group. How has that worked in terms of, A, dealing with agencies, B, in terms of savings for you, and C, the real need to do it?
Yes. Well, the real reason why we did this is because, once again, as part of our productivity effort, what we needed to do is to simplify. Simplify and focus on building brands.
Sure.
Four separate functions, while they all work together as collaboratively as they possibly could, we're still separate. So we combine them into one brand function with multiple disciplines still. We have brand management, design, communications, as well as consumer and market knowledge capability, but focused on building brands as a team. We've also made sure that we brought brand managers front and center. Brand managers of the local market, brand managers of the global market, so they're making sure that they're managing the brands more effectively. It's helped our agencies because now they're dealing with really, far fewer people, and the clarity of roles and responsibility is much clearer.
And has that led to cutting a lot of fat? Yeah,
I mean, part of the move that we've made in reducing non-manufacturing spending has been we have fewer people than we did before in order to make it simpler. And what the good news that it's done for the people in our brand organization, it is fewer people, and it is also richer jobs, bigger jobs, more responsibility.
Do you think, in today's day of, extreme pressure on the top and bottom line, marketing is really being targeted as a function, although it is increasingly becoming more important?
It's very important, and the reason why it's important is because what marketing is about, it's about creating demand. It's ensuring you know who your consumer is. It's making sure that you know what your brand equity or your brand promise is, and then it's making sure that you bring that to life with great creative ideas. So you win at the zero, the first, the second moments of truth to create trial. But that's a big spending pool. And that means that you've got to do that efficiently and effectively. So you have to drive sales, you have to do it at good margins, and you have to do it with efficient cash in order to drive shareholder return.
But how do you do that when I believe that the average life of a CMO or the tenure of a CMO is about 4 years, and the fact that your relationships with your agencies are becoming even shorter. So why you want long-term sustainable growth. How do you do it with this, constant churn at the top and with your partners?
What's most important is to make sure that you always stay laser focused on who the consumer is. The brands that are the most successful have been around for 50, sometimes 100 years. And the reason why they're successful in our case, brands like Pampers, Oral-B, Gillette, all brands that are market leaders within India, is because we are very clear on who those consumers are, and then we make sure that all of the team, whether that team changes or not, is focused on meeting their needs, and that's really what delivers.
While P&G is the leader in all, in almost all categories that you function in more mature markets, in emerging markets, because you don't play the, the below the pyramid, cheaper. Product game, and you don't discount that much, you seem to be losing share in emerging markets, especially India, where, your premium products don't seem to get enough traction simply because the Indian consumer is so used to so much discount options, and of course now even premium products being given to us at a much lower rate.
I think what's really important for you to remember is that, for everyone to remember, is that price is not the sole determinant of value.
Sure.
Okay, that value is really a function of the benefit that you're providing to the consumer, the promise that you're making to the consumer, the consistency and the quality with which you bring that to the consumer at a price. What we found in every emerging market is there is a segment of the population who is willing to pay a little bit of a premium or even a mid-price to be able to deliver that. And so what that's enabling us to do is to build our sales consistently. So the good news is in India, we're still market leaders in most, if not all, of the categories in which we compete. Our sales are growing. Every once in a while your share might have a wobble here and there, but over the long term, we will make sure that we will continue to deliver.
But how do you compete with your biggest rival, who ensures that they will bring a product with a much lower price point?
Yep.
And there's fierce competition with all global companies that have stepped shop, plus local guys, right?
Oh, yeah.
Who are really scaling up.
Yep.
So it's a really complicated market.
It is. I mean, at the end of the day, that's the great thing about the products, that kind of products that we're in. The diapers, the toothpastes, and feminine care, and all those businesses like shave care and grooming. Consumers still want better products. So what we do is we focus on making sure we bring them better products. We bring them better and better products as often as we possibly can, so they get a better, superior performance. That's how we compete, not only with the low price competitors, but also with the higher price competitors. We always are seeking to give them the absolute best.
Right, but when a market, for instance, right, a market like India contributes about 3% in your global scheme of things. So we're not really that important or drastic in your life in terms of in terms of a sheer revenue standpoint.
I wouldn't say that.
No, I mean 3% is marginal.
Yeah, but you're a very important market. India is a very important market.
From a future point of view, right? Which we've been an important market from a future point of view for the last 20 years.
The last time I spoke to you, we were a very important market too.
Sure, which was not many years ago. Not much has changed. The point is, are we really translating in terms of dollar value to you companies who've invested in us, or is because it's so small that our returns are so small, but so does it really make sense to continue to invest in markets like this in the hope that it'll one day explode? Because
absolutely. I mean, that's really been a big part of our business model over the years, is that what we do is we seek markets that have populations, obviously populations that are growing and also are growing in economic value. Yeah. And that we can deliver superior performing products that they're willing to pay for, and then that's what generates the return. And while any particular market may not be that big in the overall scheme of things, it's still very important to us. I mean, at the end of the day, we compete on a local level. We have global brands that have equities that transcend around the world, but we compete on a local level to make sure that we can deliver. I mean, one great example is one of the brands that won a Cannes Grand Prix.
Oh,
the glass
line. The pickle campaign. Yep.
That's a great idea. Taking a local insight and being able to translate that into a really great campaign that has helped to build the business.
But a lot of global analysts and Indian analysts seem to think or suggest that because the earnings from India are so small and paltry, really, that it's really a market that you're not as aggressive in as you might be in a market where you're getting more returns, and that's justifiable. But is that actually truly the case?
I don't think I would look at it that way. I would look at it more as that what we look at on every brand and on every country. So every brand country combination, what we're trying to figure out is what is the value creation from that brand country combination. Sales, margin, cash flow. If it delivers, we continue to invest and grow. We're in this business for the long term. And so we see the potential for India, not only now, but in the future.
Right. I believe that you've identified about 5 countries for each category that would deliver about between 54 to 98% of your total global profit. Now, with that being said, how would you look at at countries such as India and others who are not that
Well, in some of our brands, India is quite important.
Okay.
Just because because we're not in every single category within India, but as you know, we've got a very large Pampers business. Yep. Whisper is very big. Oral-B, we've just made some investments in the Oral-B business. Gillette is another very important one. Aerial, our businesses. So these are core categories that we've invested in that. So India is a very important category or country within those categories.
I believe that you've replaced the brief to business challenges with all your agencies. How has that been received by your agency partners, and how is it translated in terms of, a business challenge actually being fixed?
I think probably a way to think about that is that briefing the agency includes a business challenge. Sure. So it hadn't been like a full replacement of that. But just what it does is it helps the agency get more connected with what is the challenge that we're trying to achieve. So in other words, how are we trying to be able to get more usage within the Indian market? How do we get touch them in a way that gets them to think about aerial more effectively? And then that comes up with an idea like share the load. You go up with an idea that men don't think that they can do laundry, and so we come up with an idea that helps them generate trial.
Right. I want to talk about digital, and everybody's focusing on digital, including yourself.
Oh yeah.
But are you a little bit, concerned about the fact that there aren't robust digital measurement systems in place for you to really understand what's the bang for your dollar? Actually,
no, because we're very confident in our digital investment and what it's delivering.
Right.
So what we have, our market mix modeling allows us to be able to figure out, are we getting the kind of sales for our digital investment? So I'm actually not that concerned about that.
Sure. I want to talk about your relationship with Facebook and other social platforms. How has that experience been? And more and more, they're looking to directly deal with you.
Yep.
And cut away the middleman. How is that process working? And do you think that is a more effective way to work?
We have a very strong relationship with Facebook as well as with other companies like Google and Twitter. And it's a deep. We think about it as we create joint value. We know what they want to do with their business. They know what we want to do with our business. And so what we do consistently is work with them to make sure that we can get their innovation and innovative ideas, as well as they help us to build our creative capabilities, as well as figure out our targeting capabilities too. So no, it works very well.
Let me talk about PNG's, media spends. I believe as of now it's about 35% focused on digital. I want to know going forward how that mix is going to change.
Yeah, well, I would say it varies within each market, and but on average, it's kind of in the 30 to 40% range, which you're right, which we've said publicly. It will continue to increase. I really think that, and the reason why is a very simple reason. That's where consumers are going.
Sure.
Consumers are going to search social, mobile, video, and that's where they're consuming entertainment, information, and news, and that's where we show up with our advertising.
So are you saying, let's say in the next 5 years, it might actually go up to 100%?
Well, I think the way it would do that is when TV flips to digital, which I think is inevitable someday.
It will?
Inevitable. They'll have to move to some form of digital, but it won't necessarily be the same way we're consuming digital today.
Okay.
It'll just become, from linear to digital, and that will be then I think we will stop having the distinction of digital versus non-digital.
Yeah, in terms of programmatic and the way people are betting on programmatic, and that really seems to be the future, are you completely convinced that the way ahead should be programmatic? Because it seems to be based on a, of course, effective set of algorithm, but that's so mathematical. Do you think that sucks away the whole intuitive intelligence bit when one talks of, buying assets?
Yeah, what I think is going to happen, Sonali, is that more programmatic, which is more automated, is inevitable. And what will happen though is that it won't go 100%. Because you're still going to have certain things that you're going to want to buy and transact, in kind of the traditional fashion.
Sure.
But I do think that targeting is going to continue to be, and the targeting is going to require data and algorithms and other things. So whether you call it programmatic or automated, it doesn't matter. But we will see a lot more precision and automated targeting.
Martin Sorrell last year said that he looks at marketing agents, the marketing function, to become a lot more centralized going forward, and really become regional hubs, so to speak. Do you see that happening as well?
We already have a model where we have brand leaders who are at kind of a global level, who work with regional hubs, who then work with the local markets. So I think that's actually pretty much happened within our company.
So which means you mean that there will be in a local country there wouldn't be local marketing leadership.
We have local marketing leadership
No, I know
now.
you do. I'm saying going forward.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I still think you're going to always have local marketing leadership.
So how was that really a change in structure?
I think that's what. Yeah, it really isn't. I mean, I think that versus where we are today. What you said is Martin said that.
Yeah.
He thinks that's where it's going. I'm saying I think we're already there.
You're out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's probably the big difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
What is your expectation from India as a market in the next 5 years? Given the amount of investment and pressure
I think India is a very exciting market. I think India is just going to take off in the next 5 years. I think it's going to be just amazing because, and I'd say that India as a market, because as technology starts to infiltrate India more. I mean, even now the internet penetration is still not as high as it is in many other countries. Mobile is really accelerating. So I think what we're going to see is we're going to see a lot of really very interesting innovation in India. And we have tremendous talent in India, and there is tremendous talent.
Yeah, my only question to you is why is it not translating? For instance, at one point in time, India versus China, we were actually same stature in terms of, going forward. But you look at us now, they're much ahead. China is way ahead. We have a lot of catching up to do. So somewhere, something's not worked, and we haven't just pedaled as fast.
I don't know. That one I don't know. I mean, I think that's one you probably want to ask, some people who are smarter than me on that. I can just say from a marketing standpoint, from a brand building standpoint, I still see the future is going to be very, very golden for India. So stay tuned because I think it'll be very exciting.
As the world's largest marketer, right? Given the fact that you have ensured that you are now going to be spending a lot more effectively, you're cutting down on all your fat, will you still be the world's largest marketer in a few years to come?
Well, I think I would say this, is that big is not the objective.
Sure.
The best is the objective. So whether we'll be the biggest, that's an outcome. That happens.
You'll still be the best.
But in my view, we're still striving to be the best, and I still want to be the best, and I am going to make sure that we are the best. The reason why P&G is successful for years and years, we're going through a lot of change right now, but the reason why we're successful is because what we do is we actually go into every market. We make sure we understand every consumer. We make sure that we understand what that brand means to that consumer. We express that brand promise. We keep innovating to make sure we can better serve the India consumer, and we continue to innovate. And we have great people in India. I'm very proud of the work that they've done over the years and the work that they're going to do in the future. So I'm very, very bullish on India.
On that note, thank you so much, Marc. This is truly a pleasure.
Thank you, Sonali. It was a pleasure.